let's put together some fall planters. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Horticulture Geek. I'm Ray and I'm glad you've joined me today. It is finally time to start working on our fall containers. So it's that time of year, for most of us down here in the South anyway, we want to go ahead and start getting our fall containers assembled so they can grow a little bit. If you're up north, it's probably already getting cold. You may have already even experienced a frosty already. But down here in the South in Arkansas, it is still hot. And so if you put out pansies and mums and ornamental cabbages and all that stuff too early, you will lose them. So what I've got today, I'm going to work on 2 of the pots out at the front door. I've got them ready to go. I'm going to show you the plants I'm putting in. These are all plants that can put on a little growth from the way I've bought them. We're going to get them into this pot, give you guys some fall planter inspiration, and just kind of talk through the process. So let me flip the camera around, get everything ready, and show you what we're going to do with these pots. Here we go. All right, here we go. Here is what we are going to be working with. So I've got 2 pots like this. They're sets of 3. If you've watched videos before, you'll know that this is a set of 3 pots, and I have 2 sets, one on each side of the door. This is the middle-sized pot here, and we're going to be putting these plants into these 2 pots. And so what I've got for each pot, and when you talk about pots, always remember you want a thriller, something big, a filler, something to take the bulk of the space, and a spiller. So you've got 3 points: thriller, filler, and spiller. So here's what I've got. So each pot is going to receive a millet. Millet is a wonderful fall plant. Lots of places can grow it year round. It's a little, you don't see it here until fall. Let's look at the tag on this. So it's a purple bearing. You can see what the spikes will do. And this one is actually putting on some spikes. So it's really pretty. Kind of resembles corn in the leaves. So there's that. So we got millet. This right here is a dragon's breath celosia. Let me brush this tag off so you guys can look at it. Dragon's breath. So look at that red fall color. Now this is a plant that we plant year-round here in the South. I actually have put this out into the flower gardens before. It is a beautiful plant. I love celosias in general, but this one is just also really great for fall containers because, I mean, look at the stem color, the leaf color. It's very, very fall looking. And if it gets big enough to start flowering, it just puts on these beautiful plumes that are just pretty. So there's some more information about the celosia if anybody is interested in that. So that's going to look good. Next up, we have ornamental cabbage. So each pot will get a cabbage. And this is pigeon red. So the center of this cabbage will turn that beautiful reddish color. And if you can look in there, you can kind of see the stems are starting to color up. And as it keeps growing, that's what it's going to do. Let me clear this off so you can get a look at this. And then finally in each pot, we're going to be putting an ivy. This is our spiller, so this is what is going to drape over the edge of the pot and give us some interest. So I'm looking forward to that. So what you'll notice with the exclusion of the ivy, I'm going with kind of a red theme in these pots. So I've got the reddish cabbage, the red celosia, and the purple barren millet, which takes on a red hue as well, a purpley red hue as well. So I think These two pots are going to look really good together, and they're just going to be a big pop out there in the front. And we'll do completely different arrangements in the other two pots that go out there, but that's what we've got for these two. So, let me turn the camera around and set you up where hopefully you can see, and we will plant this pot up. All right, so I've got it set up where you can watch me put this pot together. You may not see my face the whole time depending on the angle shot, sorry. You know, we're just having fun, doing the best we can here. Ignore my messy garage. I've got stuff stacked over there. But that's okay. This is real life, right? We all have messes. But right now we're focusing on beauty in the garden. So I've already got this pot filled up with soil. Now, in a fall container, you really do not have to change the soil from what you've put in there in the spring and summer. I did put fresh soil in these pots in the spring, and that soil would have been perfectly well to get me through all winter long, because fall plants do not draw as much nutrients and they do not grow as much as a spring and a summer plant, because it's getting cooler, and it's just the habit of fall crops or fall containers. They don't grow as much and they don't pull as much nutrients out of the soil. But in this pot for the spring and summer, I had gladiola bulbs and Gerber daisies planted in these two pots, and the root systems went crazy, obviously. And when I pulled all that out, I lost most of my soil. It came out with the plant. So I did wind up having to put fresh soil into this pot. Not all the way. From about here up, I had to fill it up. And that's okay. So if that happens to you, it's fine. But I did want you to know that if you're working with an existing pot that you already have out in the landscape and you're just switching it out for fall, you don't have to worry about replacing all that soil. As long as that soil is loose enough for you to work in it and get stuff planted in it, it should be fine. And just top off with whatever fresh soil you need. And then I'm not going to put any fertilizer into this soil, mix it in or anything like that. I will put some slow release fertilizer onto the planter after I get it planted up, but I'm not really going to worry about putting in like a biotone or a flower tone or anything like that into the soil. It's just really not needed. And since this soil that I just put in is fresh for the most part, it already has some nutrients in it because I'm using a nutrient enriched potting soil. So I really don't need to add anything extra. These plants won't use it anyway. So with all that being said, let's jump right in and start planting. All right, so first things first, we're going to start with our thriller. Since this is going to be near my front door, you could put this right in the center and plant all around it. If you have a planter that is seen from all sides, please do whatever you want to do. But for me, since these flank my front doors, they kind of back up against a brick wall, I'm going to put my thriller to the back. And then I'm going to plant in front of it. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me get this out of its can. And you can see it's got a good, nice root system on it. You don't really have to break up root memory, but you can. So I'll give these a few little pinches just to break it up a little bit, since that is a little bit compact. I'm not really pulling anything off. I'm just trying to tease them out of a tight spiral so that they'll spread out just a bit. Okay. All right, I think that looks good. And I'm gonna come in real quick and do a little bit of grooming and get some rough leaves off, because it's a little bit easier to do that now before I cram the pot with other stuff. So a few little things here that'll just get in the way, I can go ahead and pull off. But for the most part, we're gonna leave that guy alone. All right. Next up, I'm going to take my dragon's breath. Got that in there. All right, this ivy has tried to root on me, so I'm just gonna come in and pop those roots off of that stem, clean that stem up, and then that looks pretty good. All right, and now for our cabbage. Let's get that in there. And this does need a little bit of grooming as well. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. It's easier to get that done now. Okay, and then with plants like cabbages or any of your brassicas, whether they're ornamental or edible, this isn't ornamental, you want to make sure that there's no debris in there. So like if there was any old gross leaves or any debris or anything growing in there or just laying in that, you want to get that out of there because you don't want to leave anything that will harbor bacteria that the cabbages are susceptible to. So you want to make sure you give your cabbages a good grooming so that they're nice and healthy when they go into their pot. All right, so now I've got planter 2 pulled up. I'm gonna just plant this one up the same way I did the last one. I'm probably just gonna let this go kind of on fast mode with some music. That way we can just look at it being done, right? So sit back and here we go. Okay, I did want to slow it down here and just show you what I was talking about a minute ago with this cabbage. You can see in there's debris in there on the soil surface. There's old nasty leaves. So we're gonna get all of that cleaned up so that we don't allow bacteria to harbor over into this. All right, here is the finished product side by side out here in the garden. Oh, and there's Garcia. He's making an appearance in this fall planter video. He has a cone on, as you can tell, because he had a little boo-boo on his backside and he wanted to chew at it. So we had to cone him up. He's a little sad right now, but he's fine. Patio's looking good. A little dirty with leaf debris, but otherwise looking good. All right, sorry guys, back to this. So here they are. I think they turned out good. So what you'll notice here, hopefully, is that they're mirror images because they're going on either side of the front door. So the front door will be right here. And I've got the millet, the celosia, the cabbage, and the ivy. And I think the ivy looks really good. It just brings a nice bright pop to the planter. Now, I know some of you are confused right now and you're looking at your computer screen going, Ray, there's a big hole there, and there's a big hole there. What the heck, man? Well, let me show you what's gonna happen. There it is. So that's what's gonna happen. I have pumpkins to go in the holes. So this is what these two planters will look like at the front door. Now, these are not going to the front door today. I'm gonna leave them back here for a few days to let them settle in, grow on a little bit, and just where I can baby them and keep them to just let them establish for just a little bit. But that is what it's gonna look like. And now keep in mind that there's a bigger pot and a smaller pot. And we do a whole huge fall display up at the front door. So this is just video number 1 of our fall inspiration. So I hope you've enjoyed it. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video of this fall planter, this inspiration for you, for your garden. So whether you're doing ornamentals or edibles or a combination of the two, it's almost fall. It's officially fall season, even though down here in Arkansas, it is still the third realm of hell hot. Sorry, but it is. It is hot here. So we're still dealing with that. I still have lots of stuff in the garden. I have not ripped everything out. I have not put in my fall garden yet fully. So, and it's hot today. I'm standing here sweating. Sorry. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this planter did give you some inspiration. I hope you'll keep a watch on the channel for some more videos as we do more planters and do our big fall display out front. I think you're really gonna like it. Most people love it every year when we get that done. So Mrs. Horticulture Geek has picked out stuff throughout the years because you know we're frugal here. The Horticulture Geek home is frugal. We shop on a dime and we spread our money as much as we can, because if you are a gardener, you know that gardening is expensive. And when you have to start switching out pots and buying stuff season after season after season, that money adds up quickly. And most of us just don't have the resources to do that. I certainly don't. So our strategy in our home has been, we buy a little each year. So after Halloween, after fall season, we'll hit clearance racks and we'll see if we can find some stuff out there that we can use next year. And we slowly build our arsenal of stuff to put in our displays for holidays and our garden and all that stuff. Same way with Christmas. If you've been with me from the beginning, you probably have seen my Christmas tree video from last year where we did a tour of our home and the Christmas trees. And yes, I said trees. If you have not gone back and looked at that video, we put 7 trees up in our home. And each one is decorated completely different. But we've done that the same way that we do the things in the garden and the same way I'm doing these planters. I use things that can be reused from year to year. So those pumpkins that you saw in that pot are fake pumpkins, but I have them, I use them year after year. Those pots, obviously, are my planters. I reuse the planters year after year. And the plants that I put in them, I shop around and I catch deals as much as I can. And so what you noticed is that I used a smaller sized ornamental cabbage, a smaller sized celosia, and a smaller sized millet. But once you get, and the ivy as well. So once I put all 4 plants plus a pumpkin into that planter, it is full, which you saw. So I have a very full planter that looks great, but I didn't go out and spend $8.99 or $10.99 or $7.99 or whatever the price is at Lowe's, Home Depot, big box stores for a full-size ornamental cabbage or a full-size millet in a 6-inch container or a gallon pot. I opted to go with smaller plants, put more per pot. I'm gonna let them grow on a little bit because these plants will be in here for a while. I mean, we're gonna have to get a hard frost before I switch out and do something different. So in the grand scheme of things, this is a very frugal inspiration container that I did for you today. I think the millet cost me $5, so I spent $10 there for 2 of those. The cabbages were $2.50 a piece. The celosia was $3 a piece, and the ivy, if I'm not mistaken, was $2 a piece. So I got a big bang for my buck, and my planters are full. That's how I do it. That's how I spread my budget, because I do not have an endless budget, and I know most of you that view my channel don't have endless budgets as well. If you do, hey, hats off to you. I'm proud of you, and if you want to sponsor a video, look me up. I'll take some of that money, and we'll put it to use. Just kidding. So that's it, guys. That's what I have for you. So be on the lookout for more videos. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, please do so. And if for some reason you're not subscribed to Horticulture Geek, go ahead and subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when I post another video. But as always, from my garden to yours, I wish you all the best and happy gardening.